Let us be brutally honest. If Iran withdraws from the NPT, many people will cheer and call it bold, but that would be a serious mistake. It may look like strength on television, but in the real world, it would make Iran less secure, more isolated, and far more vulnerable to pressure, panic, and attack. The legal paths exist. Article 10 gives any member a way out with a 90-day notice if extraordinary events threaten its supreme interest. That sounds neat on paper. In practice, it is a countdown to crisis. The moment Iran files that notice, every rival power starts gaming out the worst case. Diplomats panic, markets react, military planners stop giving the benefit of the doubt. The space for calm disappears fast. That is a real danger here. Once visibility drops, fear takes over. Fear is not neutral. Fear makes states act early, act harshly, and act stupidly. If Iran leaves the treaty, even people who currently argue for restraint will lose ground. Hardliners in Washington, Tel Aviv, and elsewhere will say they were right all along. They will claim Iran used diplomacy as cover and now wants a sprint to the bomb. Whether that is true or not will matter less than the fact that many powerful people will believe it. Some will argue that withdrawal gives Iran leverage. The argument is dangerously shallow. Leverage only works when the other side still thinks a deal is possible. NPT withdrawal does the opposite. It tells the world that reassurance is dying. It tells IAEA inspectors that access may vanish. It tells rivals that time may be running out. That does not create leverage, that creates a trigger. Look at North Korea precedent. Once inspectors were removed and transparency collapsed, outside governments assumed the worst. That assumption hardened into sanctions, isolation, and eventually a permanent nuclear crisis. Iran is not North Korea in every respect, but the political psychology is similar. There's also a lazy fantasy that withdrawal would instantly make Iran stronger. No, it would inherit a credibility disaster. Its safeguards dispute would intensify. Its economy would face more punishment. Any country that still wants engagement would face huge pressure to back away. Even friends would become careful. Even sympathetic states would ask whether defending Iran is worth the cost. The regional effect could be even worse. If Iran exists, neighbors will not sit quietly and admire the move. They will hedge. They will chase fuel cycle options and stronger security guarantees, and in new military alignments. That means more suspicion, more arms racing, and a much uglier Middle East. Anyone calling this strategic genius is ignoring the obvious. A system already full of mistrust does not become stable by removing the last bits of transparency. Could Iran still choose this route as a bargaining move? Yes, but that is exactly why it is so risky. Once you light a fire for bargaining, you may not control where it spreads. Domestic politics can trap leaders. Rivals can misread intent. Bureaucracies can lock in escalation. In nuclear politics, ambiguity is not always clever. Sometimes it is gasoline. And another point matters. Withdrawal does not erase past obligations or suspicions about conduct. It only sharpens the fight over what comes next. That means Iran would not be escaping pressure. It would be inviting a campaign of surveillance, coercion, and containment from multiple directions. The view is simple. NPT withdrawal would be a high-risk gamble dressed up as defiance. It would satisfy anger, but it would weaken security. It would thrill ideological loyalties, but it would narrow diplomatic space. It would look dramatic for a few days, then create months of fear, coercion, and instability. That is not strategic brilliance. That is a dangerous act of self-harm by a state walking into a darker and more hostile arena.